As a law enforcement officer, I attest that my fundamental duty is to serve mankind, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, and to respect the constitutional rights of all persons to ensure liberty, equality, and justice.
Welcome to Gainesville PD On Duty, where we take you behind the badge of the Gainesville Police Department. My name is Officer Ben Tobias, and I'm the spokesperson for the agency. I have a repeat co-host this month. I'm happy that Detective Amanda Rodanis could come back. Welcome back. It seems that your title has changed from officer to detective since the last time you were here.
Thanks, Ben. It has. I was lucky enough to be transferred to our detective division last year. I currently investigate cases of domestic violence, and I hope that my work lets domestic victims sleep a little more soundly every night. Well,
I'm glad you could join us again today, and congratulations on your assignment. In today's episode, we'll talk about a specialized unit that provides enhanced medical and tactical support. We will ride along with one of our PSTs, and we'll finish the episode by hearing about a very prestigious award recently given to one of our officers. The Gainesville Police Department has a specialized unit called the Emergency Services Unit, or ESU for short. The men and women assigned to this unit are patrol officers that work the road, but they receive some specialized training. ESU is designed to provide additional medical and rescue skills, as well as some specialized weaponry. Members of ESU are out on patrol 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to provide this enhanced level of service. We recently spent some time at one of their training days to show you some of what they can do.
We were formed in November a year and 4 months ago as a team that would respond to active shooter incidents or mass casualty incidents.
ESU stands for the Emergency Services Unit, which is a broad title for what I think is a very broad set of responsibilities that this group has. We do respond to emergency situations, critical incidents.
The Gainesville Police Department is definitely innovative, and they're always looking for different ways to better our response and also to better serve our community.
Our entire team is focused on patrol solely. We try to spread out the members amongst all shifts, so there's coverage 24/7 within the city with members from our team. That way, at any given time when these incidents pop off, we have somebody with the tools and ability to respond immediately. We don't have to call out, we're ready to go when it happens.
What brought me to ESU was the fact that it was something a little bit different. It was a little different from any other specialty unit that we had.
But I saw that there was a need for certain things to be able to be used on the road, such as when you're dealing with a suicidal subject or dealing with someone who has issues, and that instead of having to wait or use some of the old school tactics, we were able to use equipment that was given to us that was better utilized by officers who were responding to calls immediately as opposed to having to just wait.
I think what really makes us different is we have less lethal capabilities. We have the less lethal shotguns, which are equipped with beanbag rounds. We also have a 40mm launcher, which is equipped with a less lethal round. We have added medical equipment. We have an ARC kit.
Every member of the department's issued a trauma kit. What our members have is a trauma kit times 14. Our packs contain 14, I believe, different trauma kits. The ability to deal with sucking chest wounds. We're each issued a foxtrot litter so that if you have an incident that maybe if it's an active shooter in a school and you have victims down in the school, we can take this litter. It's very light, it's very compact at first, take it into school, and we can start bringing patients out to EMS. If we still have an active shooter contained in the building somewhere, we can start removing victims and get them medical treatment much quicker than the normal scene would allow in other areas of the country. Our medical capabilities are no way to do away with anything GFR, ACFR, or any other medical component in this community provide. Our capabilities are just in case we end up on a scene before them, it will potentially expand somebody's life long enough for them to do what they do every day. They're the professionals. We're just there to be an asset to them, really.
This is not just for your average person who has a high school degree. You're going to want the person that's going to respond to you to be able to be a quick thinker, to be able to handle things physically, mentally, and emotionally. And with that, the tryout process, it speaks to all of those.
So the team trains every single month for a full day. We do this over and over to try and instill the muscle memory so that when an incident occurs, you don't really have to think, you just act because we've done it so many times. We know what each member's gonna do, they know what's expected.
We have done trainings and still will be doing trainings for responses to active shooters, how to respond to suicidal subjects, how to appropriately search a building such as a school, where if someone has gone into the school and taken it over, handle certain situations on the medical side, how to do a rescue if it's going to be in the woods, which also includes doing some of the CPR and the first aid. Don't know how strong you are when you get yourselves into those particular situations, and with the group mentality, you get the job done. And with all those trainings and all those things that we have access to, that's one of the things that I actually really like about this unit.
Training more and more frequently when we do have the freak occurrence that you do see on the news, these things that receive mass attention nationwide, by training, by practicing, by trying to figure out what you can do should that arise, you're more equipped and you're more prepared to handle it.
One of the great things about ESU, aside from all the tools we get, the training we get, has been a collaboration with our surrounding agencies, GFR, ACFR, SHANS, the airport, ASO. Everybody has chipped in and welcomed the unit with open arms. We've worked on scenarios at the airport when they did a mock aircraft incident. Just recently, I think in the last 2 months, we worked with SHANS on a half-day long scenario they put together for their active shooter training program, and it's been a real blessing. GFR has what they call their Rescue Task Force, which is a group that goes into the warm zone of these type of incidents, if you will, that being the incident's still ongoing, the scene's not quite secure, if you will, but it's safe enough that they're willing to send their people into danger to treat patients. And I believe 5 months ago we worked with them on some scenarios they put together out here near the MLK Center, and it went great. I think both teams learned a lot about what the other team does, and it's going to make for a smoother transition. If one of these incidents does arise, I believe we're going to start sending some of our members to their training and vice versa. They will be sending some of their members to our training days, just so we get that constant interaction and build on the relationship we've already set.
You can't know when these events are going to happen. The only thing you can do is you can prepare to the best of your knowledge. You can learn from what errors, what mishaps have happened in the past, and taking from that knowledge, when we come together for our monthly training, we talk about these things, we break these things down, and we think about how can we improve on what others have done, whether they be successes or failures.
I'm proud to be a part of this unit because with the changing climate when it comes to how people view law enforcement and how law enforcement is having to deal with the community and just with everyday people, we now have better tools that we are equipped with to whether it's a bad situation or a good situation.
I'm absolutely proud to be a part of ESU. With our training that we have, with our equipment that we have, it's something that gives me the confidence knowing that I'm able to, step up to most occurrences that will happen on this job, and if not, then I can do my best to figure it out.
We hope we never have to respond to one of these events. I think the city has prepared itself for anything that may happen, and this team has prepared itself for anything that may happen. Again, the hope is that we never have to respond to anything of that nature in Gainesville again.
Our ESU members are just one way that GPD is going above and beyond with the levels of service we provide to the community, and they are already having a great impact in our city. After a break, we will ride with some of our folks that help keep Gainesville safe in another way. Gainesville PD on Duty will be right back.
I will maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn, or ridicule, develop self-restraint, and be constantly mindful of the welfare of others. Honest in thought and deed in both my personal and official life, I will be exemplary in obeying the laws of the land and the regulations of my department. Together, as a community, we foster order, safety, and freedom.
Gainesville police officers are supplemented by a very talented group of folks that work the road alongside us. I'm talking about our police service technicians, or PSTs for short. These men and women do just about everything a sworn officer does, except they don't have contact with criminal suspects. They handle traffic crashes, burglary investigations, and also conduct some crime scene processing.
Having the PSTs available to answer these types of calls leave the sworn officers free to have a quicker response to emergency calls, and also lets them have more time to patrol the city. Our PSTs really help a great deal.
We recently rode with PST Bill Fruin to see what these folks do every day. I can tell you that they are an invaluable part of this department, and I think you'll agree.
My name is Bill Fruin. I'm a police service technician with the Gainesville Police Department. I work Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. The other half of us work Monday through Thursday, those same hours. There are a few of us. There are a few who come in a little bit early, come in like work 6:30 to 5 because in case they need to cover school zones in the morning. We are qualified to handle all calls that do not involve an active suspect on duty or active suspect on scene. We do a lot of traffic crashes, burglaries. We're all trained to collect evidence, check for fingerprints, those types of things, photograph crime scenes, burglaries, thefts, forgeries, things like that. And a lot of things where people may have a question that's not necessarily, they don't necessarily need an officer to come, like a VIN verification because they're bringing their car in from out of state, things like that. Those are the type of calls that we typically handle. I'm sure most of them are very happy when we show up because it allows them, to be available for more high priority calls. We're going to a traffic crash on Southwest 62nd Boulevard and 9th Place. According to the notes here, 2 vehicles had a crash at the intersection. First, make sure nobody's hurt, and then make sure the road is open. If there's any roadblock, that's the main thing, to try to get everybody off the road.
Bus in front of the Dodge, she slowed down so she wouldn't hit the bus. He didn't. Ran right in the back of her.
Okay, so. All right, no problem. First vehicle was slowing down to stop for a bus. It was stopping at the bus stop. The other vehicle was behind her. When he looked up and noticed traffic was stopping, he hit his brakes but didn't have enough room to completely stop. So the front of his vehicle collided with the back of the other vehicle. All right, you were stopped or slowing down?
There was a bus and a car in front of me, but there was this much space between me and the car. When I saw him coming, I tried to go up a little bit,
right.
But I couldn't really, I would hit them, and then I just bammed, but I stopped on my brakes.
Okay, right. Yeah, so you already took some pictures?
No, about
Because that's what I was gonna say. While I'm doing my stuff, go ahead, take some pictures, and I'll get some paperwork for you. Probably take about 10 minutes.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Collected the information from both drivers, get their license, their insurance, their registration, make sure that their addresses are correct, or get a correct address for them. If it's not the correct address on the driver's license, get contact information for them, phone number, get the stuff entered into the computer so they can have a driver's exchange where they each have the police report number. Here are your things. Can you take a quick look at section 1, make sure your information is correct. There you go, ma'am. And can you take a quick look at section 2 and make sure all your information is correct. Okay, what you have here is your driver's exchange of information, which they'll give to their insurance companies so they can look up the report to help them determine their investigation. Then they each have the information on the other driver. Give my name and my ID number in the lower left and the number to our front desk. So if you do have some questions, give our desk a call. They'll have me get in touch with you and hopefully I can answer them for you.
All right, thank you so much.
Anybody got any questions on this?
No, sir.
All right, then you're all good to go, ma'am.
Thank you.
And fortunately, I do have to give you a citation as well.
Okay.
Careless driving, rear-end collision. Fine is $159. Payable within 30 days at the courthouse on East University.
Okay.
They do take checks. You can just drop something in the mail if you'd like.
Okay.
There's 4 points with this. They're with all crash citations.
Oh, no.
So there is an option for a driver's improvement course.
Okay.
Eliminates the points but not the fine. You're going to a traffic crash. Okay, well, while she's parking, can you tell me what happened real quick?
So I was turning back and then she wasn't there. There was a homeless guy on the bike and he asked me for money and he passed by. I was thinking about him and then I didn't see her at all, but she didn't turn away either or like
I'm really just trying to help people out. Hopefully if they have any questions about what they need to do, be able to provide them with at least a few answers. I can't speak for what the insurance companies are going to want them to do, so that's usually what I recommend. Talk to your insurance company. They have some steps they want you to follow. But if you need a tow, I can get you a tow. If you need a ride, depending on where you're at, I can get you a ride. Those types of things. I just really like to try to help people out, because usually when they call, they have something that's causing some stress. And if I can help alleviate that a little bit, and make their day go a little bit smoother, then I feel I'm doing my job.
As you can see, our PSTs do a lot of great work for the city. They are just one part of the entire team that helps Gainesville run smoothly. After the break, we will tell you about how one GPD officer earned a very prestigious award. Gainesville PD on duty. We'll be right back.
I will never act officiously or permit personal feelings, prejudices, animosities, or friendships to influence my decisions. With no compromise for crime and with relentless prosecution of criminals, I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately, without fear or favor, malice or ill will, and never employing unnecessary force.
In June of 2015, Officer Pat Hopkins and Corporal Brett Kuykendall were dispatched to a house fire in southeast Gainesville. There were reports that a baby was trapped inside the house. As Hopkins and Kuykendall arrived, they saw flames shooting out of the house, but they literally sprinted towards the inferno. Corporal Kuykendall lifted Officer Hopkins inside of the house, where he was ultimately able to locate a 30-year-old woman inside the house and carried her to safety. Officer Hopkins and Corporal Kuykendall have been awarded the Governor's Medal of Heroism for their acts, and Officer Hopkins was awarded the Carnegie Hero Medal at a recent ceremony. Let's hear the story from the hero himself.
That night I was doubled up with Officer Kuykendall. So we were doubled up, just trying to work the area and have a good night, good safe night working together. He reads it out and he says, "Oh man, I think there's a fire." We get fire calls a lot. I mean, they're very frequent, but they're not usually to this level or this extensive. The call notes started coming in. The call taker takes the call notes and puts them in, and progressively they seemed like they were getting worse. It said it was fully engulfed. There was a kid stuck inside. There's a gas line hooked up to it. They don't know if it's gonna blow up. So that's when we started driving past there with our lights and sirens. We made a decision. I told Officer Kuykendall on the way there that we're gonna have to go in and get this kid. Getting amped up about having to do this. We're also half expecting to show up and not be a big deal, because sometimes calls sound like really bad, but then you show up and it's not as bad as it seemed on the call screen. But this was pretty bad.
Park back here, bro. Don't get too close.
I didn't think there'd be anyone alive inside of it. It was the first thing I thought. I didn't think there'd be no way anyone could live in it. I've never been trained to go towards a fire. We've never had fire training. But I'm a father, and so the call note said there was a kid inside. So going to this, I was thinking of my kid being inside the fire. She kept saying a baby, my baby. So I'm thinking the small baby's inside. So that's what motivated me to run. And Brett, we both did. We both got out and ran there. And there were two neighbors that lived down the street, and they had tried to get in the front door before we even got there, because they knew that. So they did a fantastic job. And they were the ones that told us that there was, someone inside. I tried to kick in the front door. We got the door open, but it was just a wall of flames. So I couldn't get close to the door once it opened, so we had to back up. We broke out the windows, flames came out of the windows, so we kept going around the house until we made it to the southeast part of the house. When we get to that window, there's no flames coming out of this window, so I'm guessing that, if there's a chance of someone being alive, it'd be in this room. Me and Officer Kuykendall, we break out this window and then break the glass out as best we could. And maybe, I don't know if it was just me hearing it or not. Brett didn't hear. Maybe I was just being hopeful, but I heard someone cough inside. I thought I did. So I'm like, I definitely got to go. I was thinking, like, oh man, all this black smoke's pouring out of the window.
And I was like, there's just no way you can go into that. And so I kind of turned around, took a deep breath, and Brett's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I gotta go inside. And jumped up, and Brett grabs me, and I don't know if he's trying to keep me from going in or push me in, I don't know, but he grabbed me and helped me in. And I fell in on the ground on the other side of the windowsill. And it was like a wall of darkness. It was completely silent. I mean, it was like, I don't know, they say when you go through a stressful situation, there's auditory exclusion and all these things happen to you. I don't know about any of that, but I know it was really quiet. I mean, like pin drop quiet. You could hear the fire like roaring, but it just was really, really quiet and dark. I took a deep breath before I went in, so I was just trying to hold my breath. Got low to the ground, you know, smoke rises. I tried to stay low, thought that was a good idea. I tried to open my eyes, just burn my eyes, so trying to blink real fast and take like snapshots of the area, but I couldn't see anything. Just started feeling around, crawling on the ground. Couldn't find anything. Found a bed. I'm like, well, maybe the baby's on the bed. You know, I put my baby on the bed or whatever. I don't know if it rolled off. There's no baby on the bed. I'm starting to get frustrated because I can't find the kid. I guess Brett was yelling at me from the window, trying to give me a reference point where I was, but I didn't hear him. I get close to a door, and you can see the door like sort of burning down, or I guess it was kind of burning down. You can see like the orange. And I got down and kept crawling away from the bed. And I felt a foot, and I'm like, oh man, that's a big foot. That's not a baby. So the first thing I think is, oh man, there's a adult in here and a kid. I'm like, oh man, this is not good. All right, well, we found this one. We got to get him, her, whoever it is, out. But she couldn't talk. She had a deflated lung. She couldn't talk. She's passed out. So we grabbed her, or I grabbed her, and it was like a big bear hug, and stood up with her. And we just kind of like, I just rolled her on the bed, and rolled over the bed, fell on the ground again, and I'm completely out of breath by this point. We had to get out. There was no choice of staying there. We just had to leave. There was an option to stay. It's either you do it or you don't. I picked her up and brought her to the window, and so I knew I had to get her out, but I'm just exhausted after just two or three minutes. And so I put my head out the window to try to grab a breath of air for myself so I could try to lift her up out of the window. I guess that's when Brett saw me at the window. Knew I was gonna try to get her out. And they pulled her out. She got cut up on her legs pretty bad, but EMS was already outside. Brett handed her off to Corporal Clinton, Kevin, and he took her right over to the EMTs, and he treated her first before even getting to the EMTs. Fantastic work by him. Once I got her out, I jumped out of the window, and Kuykendall was just sitting there. he caught me, or dragged me out of the window too. I cut my leg up a little bit. So then I get out and hit the ground, and I'm like, oh, we got her, and I'm like, I can't breathe. I took my stuff off, my vest and my shirt. I'm like, oh, there's still a baby inside. I'm always worried about this baby. I still haven't found this baby that showed up here to get. Kuykendall's like, no, you gotta, that was the baby. I wasn't mad, but I'm like, oh, no, you don't understand. There's still a baby inside. And he's like, no, that is the baby. That's her baby. I'm like, oh, okay. And they got Kimberly, the girl that was inside. They got her loaded up to go to the hospital, and Miss Foster gave me a big hug in the middle of everything, and just kind of stopped, and we got like this 2-minute long hug. It was really nice. No, I was nominated by Lieutenant Koenig for the governor's Medal of Heroism, I believe it is, that he gives out. But we got to travel out there and meet the governor during one of their sessions and give myself and Officer Corporal Kuykendall now an award.
Tonight, I'm here to honor a hero among you all who performed an extraordinary feat. He saved a life while risking his own. The history of the Carnegie Hero Medal and its awardees is one of the highest and most amazing awards of heroism and daring rescue. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our hero, Officer Patrick Hopkins of the Gainesville Police Department.
I read some of the other awards that are given out for this, and I would say that I failed compared to them. So it's very nice honor. I think any one of us, anyone here at GPD would have went in if they showed up to that. You know, I don't see anyone here that wouldn't have done that. I'd maybe say that it's just part of the job. I mean, you get dispatched to a call and you're supposed to do the best that you can, and maybe it wasn't part of the job, but it's something that could have happened, that we all know that could have happened. And so after this fire, they had nothing left. So Officer Kuykendall and I sent out an email to GPD saying this family's lost everything. Any donations would be greatly appreciated. And we were hoping, for a few things, but GPD as a family came together and we had beds and TVs and couches and coloring books, stuffed animals, appliances, kitchen appliances, everything you can ask for. And we put it all together, loaded it up on several trucks, and brought it out to Loretta, give that to her, and to see how happy that made her, and that she has a way to provide for her kid again. And that was also very nice. It was, another part of the GPD family here.
I'm proud to work alongside men and women like Officer Hopkins. I don't have any doubt that any police officer would run into that situation like he did, but I'm thankful of the recognition he has received since his heroic rescue.
And that wraps up this episode of Gainesville PD On Duty. Be sure to find us online on social media or by visiting our website at gainesvillepd.org. You can learn more about the Gainesville Police Department and even watch previous episodes.
We are always looking for new topics to share with you on the show, so please let us know what areas of the department you'd like to see featured.
Just a quick event announcement. The second annual high school all-star basketball game will be Friday, March 10th at 6 p.m. Members of local law enforcement will take on a group of high school all-stars, and all the proceeds will go towards the Basketball Cop Foundation. Find more information at basketballcop.net. Thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you again soon for another episode of Gainesville PD On Duty.
I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith, and I accept it as public trust to be held, so long as I am true to the ethics of the police service. I will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideals, dedicating myself before God to my chosen profession, law enforcement.